Hey guys, assalamualaikum, it's Jenna G. Welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my kitchen. We're going to be cooking today. We're going to be whipping up a delicious Caribbean dish. We're going to be making a Trinidad style stewed beef with dumplings in it. So let's jump into this Trinidad style stewed beef with dumplings. Simple, delicious, easy recipe for you guys to follow along with. The first thing I'm going to start off doing basically is just prepping everything to add to our beef. And we're going to let that sit and marinate for a little while, and then we're going to cook everything. So I'm chopping up my Chadon Beni, but of course if you have a food processor, by all means go right ahead. Add everything in and chop it all up. It saves a lot on time. Now what I like to do is leave or use some of the green seasoning that I chop up and prepare at the end. Usually when I'm cooking stews and curries, I like adding some fresh green seasoning right like just about when it's done. So I'm going to be adding this to the bowl now, and then I'm going to actually be cutting up some more and leaving it to add later on. So I've got my pepper here. It's actually scorpion pepper that I have here chopped up and in the freezer. So I'm putting in a piece there. In goes everything. I'm adding just a little bit of the all-purpose seasoning. It has salt in it already, and I'm adding some paprika and piece of or half of one of the tomatoes. We'll add the next half while everything is cooking. Okay, good. So you can set this aside for a little while, let it marinate as long as you like, or if you're pressed for time, you can go right ahead and start cooking it immediately after seasoning it. So we got the beef all seasoned up, right? So the next thing you want to do is cook it, or like I said, you can let it sit and marinate. Now the thing about the beef, sometimes you're not sure in terms of the cut of beef that you get, so you might need to pressure cook it. I know a lot of people would prefer not to go about using the pressure cooker for various reasons. I sometimes use it to speed things up, of course. You have the option of also adding meat tenderizer to it about an hour or so before you're ready to cook it, so it sort of helps with the cooking process. But I'm going to start off cooking in my regular pot, and I'm just going to leave it, let it cook there. Be mindful though, if you do prefer to cook it in the pressure cooker, you can actually start cooking it in the pressure cooker itself, let it pressure cook for a little while, and then continue cooking. I'm just going to cook it in my regular pot and let it take its time to cook through, and then we're going to just cook it in that way. So you have the option, regular pot for a longer period of time, or you can just pressure cook it to speed things up. So we're going to start off, I'm using some oil. I didn't mention that in the list of ingredients, but I'm just using just a little bit of oil. And in goes my brown sugar. I usually like to add my ketchup to the sugar here. So I'm going to wait until it starts to bubble up, form a nice sort of cake-like batter-looking mixture. And then we're going to add the ketchup, and then in goes the beef. So in stew, it's all about the timing. Learn that from my grandmother. So once it starts to form this sort of cake-like batter, starts to bubble up like this, and you get that nice color, I'm going to add in the ketchup. So I am just going to cover down the pots and let this cook just for a couple of minutes. And then when there's like no more water in the pot, we're going to add the water and all the other ingredients and let everything cook down. So at this point the heat is on low, and I'm just covering it like I would have mentioned. You're going to just let it cook for like 5-10 minutes or so on low heat, and you want most of that water that will spring naturally from the meat to evaporate, and then we're going to add the rest of the ingredients and let it cook down. So the next step would be to make the dough for our dumplings, but I would have made it already. This is one of those recipes or those meals that you can put together with whatever sort of ingredients you have. So I would have made some sada roti, and I had extra dough lying around, and I would have made some pilau, and I have some extra peas. So why not just throw it in make a delicious stew beef with it, add the peas to it, and use the dough to make our dumplings. So I'm just going to show you guys a quick video on how to make the dumplings. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So all you're going to be doing is adding flour, some baking powder, pinch of salt, and some sugar. And you're going to mix that all up, knead it up properly, knead it well, and let it sit. And when you're ready, you're going to roll it out and add it to the pot. Now you can actually make some coconut dumplings with this if you wish to. So I'll post the link down below to the coconut dumplings recipe for you guys to try it out. Quick video up here, you guys will be seeing on how to make the coconut dumplings. Pretty simple. You're using coconut water to knead it with, not that hard to put together. So I'll put the link down below so you guys can try it out. And in the meantime, we're going to continue with our stew beef. So let's check on it, guys. So do you see how much liquid there is in the pot? And we didn't even add anything. So I'm going to increase the heat and let this water dry out from the pot. And then we're going to add more water and let it cook until the beef is tender. Now at this point, if you choose to pressure cook it, by all means go right ahead and pressure cook it to speed up that process. So I added more water to the pot. Waited until the water was dried down from before, and then I went ahead and added the water. So at this point, I'm going to cover it down and let it continue cooking. It will take a while, so if you want to go use the pressure cooker, by all means go right ahead and use it. So we're going to cook this until it's nice and tender before we add the other ingredients. So it's been going a couple of minutes, guys. Let's check on it. Okay, so our beef is getting there. So now I am going to add water, more water, and I'm going to add all the other ingredients, including the coconut milk. And in goes the peas, the carrots as well. Now, like I said, you don't have to add the peas to it, right? I just add the peas because I have extra and I really don't want it to waste. So at this point, I am going to cover it back, let it continue cooking until that beef is soft, very soft, and then we're going to add the dumplings because it will not take long for the dumplings to cook. And we're going to throw in some extra green seasoning in there as well. So let's go through the ingredients, guys. I am going to be using some coconut milk in this dish. I think that coconut milk adds such rich flavors to a dish, so I'm going to be adding that. But if you prefer to leave it out, that's fine. You can just simply eliminate it. I'm going to be using, I have my beef already cut up and clean here. I'm going to be throwing in some pigeon peas. I had this extra, so I'm going to be using that. I'm going to be using some brown sugar, some all-purpose seasoning, some paprika, some ketchup, and my vegetables. I'm going to be using some onion, carrots, tomato, Chadon Beni, chives, garlic, hot pepper is going in there as well. And I've got my dough already made for my dumplings. This is leftover dough I had actually. So you're not going to be seeing me making the dumplings, the dough in this video. I will still post a clip from a previous video just to show you guys how to go along making it. So I'm going to leave the heat between low and medium and let this cook for a while again. Let's check on it, guys, see how it's looking. So at this point you could probably give your beef a taste, make sure it's tender, it's cooked nicely to your liking. So good, but I just want it to cook down a little more, so I'm going to add some more water. And at this point I'm adding more of the green seasoning because it's almost finished. Once this water is reduced a little bit, we're going to add the dumplings. So I'm going to add some more green seasoning. So in goes the seasoning, and it needs some more spice for me, so added some raw pepper in there. I'm using the all-purpose which has salt already, so I'm adding some because it needs a little more salt. So you can add this accordingly, right? So because it has salt, you know, you add more or less salt according to your taste buds. Give this a stir, let this cook down a little more, and then we're gonna just throw in the dumplings, and that would be it for our stewed beef with dumplings. So while the beef is cooking, let's work on our dumplings. So I'm just going to roll out the dough. Now what you can do Instead of doing this longer process, you can simply break piece off and just roll it between your fingers, drop it in the pot. But I prefer to have my dumplings looking a little neat, so I am going to roll it out, and then we're going to cut it into equal or as equal as possible pieces. But again, this step is not necessary. And when you're doing this, you want to be mindful that the dumpling, the dough has baking powder, which means that it will swell, it will puff up, in plain words. So you don't want to cut it too big, you don't want to put too big of a piece in the pot, because it will swell up. Right, so now what I'm going to do is just cut using a knife. And then just cut it again into pieces. And then we're going to drop this into our pot. So I'm just going to drop each one in. Dumplings take no time at all to cook, guys. Dumplings with some peas, stew beef. So leaving it just about a minute, let the dumplings cook through, and just turn off your heat, and that is it. Just for some extra green. And that's it for our dish in today's video. Our stew beef with dumpling, guys, finished. Looks so good, and it has the kitchen smelling amazing right about now. And that brings us to the end of this video, guys. Stewed beef with dumplings in it, a Caribbean comfort food. Now let me just tell you guys, let's just talk a little bit about stew, about Trini style, Caribbean style, about the dumplings. Stew is one of those things that everybody has a different opinion on. Some like the dark, some like the light, and I will continue to say it in all the different stew videos that I do, just because I know some people will, you know, make a comment on the color of it or whatever the case is. But just remember, and like I continue to tell you all, have fun in the kitchen. Cooking is all about you, your preferences, your taste, and your family taste. So if you like a dark stew, if you like a light stew, you do it according to however you like it. So the coconut milk for me, adding it in it adds a lot of rich flavor. So I prefer to add the coconut milk. If you prefer not to add it, just that's fine. Eliminate it and just replace it with water. If you want to add like the peas that I added, I had extra on hand, I threw that in as well. So this is just one of those meals, like I would have said at the beginning of the video, that you can actually just put together, use anything that you have on hand and just put it in all in there. It's one of those absolutely delicious comfort foods you can have and enjoy. But all in all, guys, this dish is something that you guys have to try. If you've never tried it before, if you've never had stewed beef with dumplings in it, give it a try. Of course, if you have made this dish already, comment down below, let me know what your recipe is like. You know, we always like to talk about food and all the different ways of putting together the same exact dish. One of the absolutely beautiful things about food. So that just jumps into my next point. Thanks so much to all you guys who continue to send me pictures of recipes and you all try it out. It makes me so excited. It gets me so excited. I can't even explain it. Every time I get a picture, whether it's on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or Instagram, whatever it is, I get so excited. So hats off to, let's see, Natasha with her bread. Marla did her whole roasted chicken, looks fantastic. Parisha did her oven barbecue style chicken, looks amazing. Yogi did some bacon choker. Miriam did roti, and everything looks so good. If I miss any of you guys, if I forgot to mention any of you all, send me a picture again or just message me and I'll be sure to mention you all in my next post. The thing about it, so many different social media platforms, and sometimes I might miss one or two because, you know, depending on the time of day that I see the message or whatever the case is. But if I do miss your message, or if I do miss your picture, or don't post it on my Insta story or on my Facebook page album, please send me a message, of course, and I will be sure to add it and of course give you a shout out in my video. So thanks so much, guys, to all of you all who continue to watch the videos and most importantly try the recipes. Even when you all have problems, you know, with it or while you're doing it, It's all good. Send me messages and I'm always here to help once time permits. So having said all of that, guys, thank you as always for continued support. Thank you a million for always watching the videos. Try out this stewed beef and dumpling recipe. I'm sure that you're going to love it. I'm sure of it. It's delicious. So thanks so much as always for watching, guys, and I will see you all in my next video.